everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video on a very simple highlight contour routine that you can achieve in the drugstore. That kind of look where the light is just hitting you perfectly on your face has been in for quite a while. I know Kim Kardashian made it famous, and you can get it without having to pay a lot of money. You can get it with products in the drugstore. So I'm all ready to go. But let me tell you what I've already put on my face. I've done my eye look already, which kind of makes my rest of my face look really naked because I'm only wearing my eye products. But I've already put on my Stay Matte Primer. This helps your face to be very matte. You don't want to start looking shiny throughout the day. So my face is very matte despite sitting right in front of a light source. I've also applied my Fit Me foundation from Maybelline, and I used a beauty blender, which by the way you can get in most drugstores now, but they do have cheaper alternatives on sites like Amazon. You can get a cheaper version, and you simply just buff the product into your face like this. I'm not actually buffing right now, but you simply just push as you go along, and it really helps to thin it out a little bit and really distribute your product evenly. So it's really good for products like foundation, BB cream, whatever you have. Now you can do highlight contour in one of two ways or combination of both ways. I like to do combination of both ways because I find it keeps my look staying perfect all day long. But you can still, if you feel like it's too cakey this way, you can do one or the other. So what I do is after I've applied my foundation, I will either, in place of my foundation, or I'll leave areas out of my foundation. What do I mean by that is, if I'm going to highlight and contour with a cream per se, I may only use my foundation in areas where I'm not going to be using it. So for example, I'll put it over here, because I typically don't I don't contour here. And I'll apply it in places like over here. But I applied it all over my face today. So what you'll do with the BB creams, if you choose to go this route, is you can get a light one and a medium dark one. If you are a paler skin tone, if you're medium, you'll want to get medium, and then is to start with a product that is your skin tone. So mine is Fit Me 220. A product that's lighter than you, so I'm using Rimmel London BB cream in light, because it's, by the way, BB creams are so light in formula that you won't feel caked on after doing all of this. So that's why I prefer to do it this way. And then I use the BB cream medium dark. Now if you're darker, if you're a medium skin tone, of course you're going to use as your base color your medium foundation. Then for your highlight you'll go maybe medium light, and then for your contour you'll do medium dark. You see what I'm saying? You always want to go yours one lighter, one darker. Only one. If you go too high or too low, you're going to wind up looking not so good. I mean, we all want that extreme, perfect light on the face, but sometimes it's just too much in my opinion. So, with that being said, the other thing you can do, by the way, is you can do it with powders. So, I'm going to be showing I'm going to do all three, the powder, the cream, and the combination, but I'm going to do each one bringing you to the combination, if you know what I'm saying. So we have the powders, and I'm going to be using the new Maybelline Master Highlights, which aren't just for highlighting. You can use them to contour, blush, pretty much anything you want to use them for. So I'm going to be using light bronze as my blush because it's got a pinky metallic sheen to it. It looks really nice. I'm going to be using nude as my highlight, and this one also has that really nice metallic sheen to it. And then I'm going to be using mauve as my contour right here in my cheek. Another product that you can do the highlight contour blush routine with is also the Fergie Center Stage Collection 2 Reflect Shimmer Palettes. I will often use the Rose Champagne Glow as my highlight, the Rose Golden Goddess as my blush, Rose Golden Goddess lightly as my blush, and then the Carnival in Rio as my contour. So any three products that kind of work in gradation can work perfectly as your contour, blush, highlight routine. And I'm going to be putting that over my BB creams. Now, if you only want to use the BB creams, or you only want to use your foundations or what have you to get your look using creams only, you can do just the creams, maybe even skip the foundation if you really just bring out the shades into their respective areas. And you can set it with a product like this. This is the Wet n Wild Fergie Take on the Day Mattifying Powder, and what this will do is it'll take all that cream you just put on your face and it'll set it. So it's not like if you go like this, you'll start moving the product all over your face, so you'll be left with like a wet, moist face. You won't have to worry about that with setting it with a powder. So I always recommend setting any look with a powder. That's my personal preference. So let's start. If you take your cream, you take your lightest cream, and you want to put this where you want the light to hit you perfectly. So for me, that would be right here in the middle of the forehead. And then I just bring it down. You can use your beauty blender to do it too, but I really want to show you guys where I'm getting it. So you'd want to go like that. You can also use a foundation brush, that helps too. But I really want to show you guys where I'm getting it. So, I'll usually put concealer under my eye. I haven't done that today. So for today, I'll just use the BB cream. But usually, I use concealer in this area beforehand. So you want to bring that out. Then you want to kind of bring it down, because usually the light will hit you right here. And if you have high cheekbones, this is all for you, because I have the high cheekbones, so my cheeks are like right up here, right under my eye. So you do that. So there you go, you got your highlight there, middle of your nose. Sometimes if I have a little bit left on my finger, I'll put some right there. I don't really contour my chin, so I know some girls do, I don't, so I'm not going to show you that because I personally don't do it. Then you take your darker color, and I'm using the BB cream in medium dark, and I'm just going to kind of put it along this area and bring it up into here. Again, if you're using a brush, that's great, you should use a brush. I actually never use my fingers, but I just want to make sure you guys see exactly where I'm putting it. So if you go like this with your finger across your face, even when it's bare, you'll feel exactly you want to go right under your cheekbone and then go up. So once you know where that is, then you can really help guide your brush. And you can also put a little bit just on the sides of your nose, but you don't want to put it too dark, because then you wind up with your nose looking too much contoured. You know, you don't have too pointy of a nose. So now that I look like I'm ready to go into the wilderness and hide behind a tree, I'm gonna start blending this in. So I'm taking my beauty blender and I'm gonna start just sweeping it across. And I blend up a little bit, and then I come down so I get some of that lighter color, and I'm also bringing it up. And then sometimes I'll get in here with this and I'll start bringing this into a circle right here on my cheekbone. I'll get into my eye area. And then I'll kind of soften it down here if I don't want to look too done up. So you see, it starts to look like I actually have a nice light on my face, whereas before it kind of looked like I was dead. I felt a little too pale. So I do the same on this side. I start with this and I just drag up. So lots of dragging, then I get some of that light, I bring it down, up and down, go in here, get in there, get a little bit of that light right there, do under my eye. And then the corners just kind of meet, I bring it down. And then I kind of like soften this edge up right here. The same goes for the center of the nose. Usually I'll turn it around so I'm on the cleaner area. And then I just let the light blend into the dark sides of the nose. And then I bring up the center, pretty much. You can also do a little bit of contour around the forehead. I have a very tiny forehead, so I don't do that. But if you were to do it, you would take just a little bit of your, don't want to have a messed up hairline. What you do is you take a little bit of your darker color and you would put it right here and then blend it inwards. Kind of like you did with the nose, where you were taking the light, bringing it out. You'd bring the dark and bring it in. But my forehead, like, it's just filled with hair. So now that I'm done, you can see that I have the contour. I have the light hitting me right here. My nose, it's all blended. It's all, you know, I don't look like I'm dying anymore. I don't look like I'm ill. Now, after that, you can just simply set with your mattifying powder, and you're done. You have a subtle contour. And then, of course, you can add your powders over that. If you want to put a little bit of blush or you want to put a little bit of a highlight, you can, of course, do that. But I like to... After that, you would set with powder, and I always like to set with powder before I put on a regular powder, because if I start putting on my blush and my contour powders, it's going to look way too harsh just on top of the creams. So I always use like a clear, not clear, but a mattifying powder, or I'll use a pressed powder instead. So I'll either use the Fit Me 220, my natural foundation, over it, but I'll apply it very lightly over where I've applied the cream contour and highlight, so that it doesn't cover it up. By the way, I'm using the MAC Masterclass brush, and I'm not using it the right way. I should be using it the right way, but I'm just trying to show you guys, no matter what brush you have, you can just pretty much just brush it on. So now I will start with my contour, which I'm going to be using Mauve from the Maybelline Highlight. And while I still have just a little bit on my brush, a little bit of that powder on my brush, I'm going to let that stay because I don't want it to get too dark. So you would take your blush brush now and maybe put a little bit of the mattifying powder on it so that your contour isn't too harsh, because you've already done the cream. If you haven't done the cream, you should be fine without having to put any of the mattifying powder on your brush. So you get that, and then I usually will brush a little bit on my hand, and then I'll blend it out and up. Now I have high cheekbones, so I go right under. I find where my cheekbone is and I go right under and up. So now I'm starting to have a contoured cheek, and I want to do a blush. So I'm pretty much just going to follow right on top of there. Sometimes I'll use my blush brush again. Sometimes I'll use a separate brush entirely. It all depends. Today I'm just going to use the same brush, and I'm just wiping it off of my hand. And I have my blush on the brush, and I'm just going to go half over the contour and bring that up. And again, I'm going to go half over where the contour is and then go up. So now I have my blush, and now I want to do my my highlight. Again, I'm going to wipe off the brush on my hand, get some of that color off, and then I'm going to do my highlight. And I go right into the apple of my cheek, and then I pull up into the apple of my cheek in like a circular motion, and then I pull up. So as you can see, I'm starting to look highlighted here, whereas here I'm still a little matte. So that's pretty much it. And you can also, once you've applied your highlight, you can also then again soften the contour if it's too much. But that's pretty much the simple way to highlight, contour, and do a little bit of a blush look. So that's how you do your cheeks if you've got some high cheekbones and you want to use some drugstore products. And even if you don't have high cheekbones, the trick is to find where your cheekbone ends and go into that hollow to create a thinner look on your face, but also create that well-blended gradation of color. And again, this is all set, so I kind of look like the light is hitting me in this circular area. Sometimes I'll even apply some of the highlighter to my forehead in this area and bring it into the nose, and maybe even sometimes like that, where I originally had put just a little bit right there. So it really helps to bring the look together. I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope I wasn't confusing you guys at all. I'm not the best at tutorials. I'm trying to get better, and I hope you guys appreciated this one. If you're not, please follow me on Instagram. I'm Recycled Stardust, and as always, thank you so much for watching.